Jack Kerouac, he drank himself to death in New England, and I'd like to take his hand and say, Jack, man, it's okay. Now he's gone, and we're left to move on without him. The dogs howl like beat, poets at an arcade, soaking moonlit falls, unbroken plastics inundated ore. Then we call home, and it's night, and I'm alone, and I'm alive.
Welcome to Talkin VAWLS, episode number 54, brought to you via the Outright Geekery Podcast Network at outrightgeekery.com. We are also live on YouTube, courtesy of the S&B Network. Make sure you hit that like button. Go ahead and smash it. Share out the link. My name is Boogie Bentley.
I'm Vols JP.
And I'm Dauber. What's going on?
Oh, man, what a stressful start to this podcast. Apparently, Spectrum Internet is having a major outage all over the eastern United States. So hopefully we're going to stay with you guys. We had some people requesting the music this week, so I'm just happy that it was up and running. No comments in the live chat. Good to see you guys. We got Ryan Hoskins. We got Alan V., Joseph Gibbham, 6 Watts, D. Arnold, Zachary Ray, Bryant Rockwell, Brian Walker, James Gentry, St. Louis. Thank you guys for joining us for the 54th episode of Talkin VAWLS on this, September 11th. A lot of touching tributes. May we never forget. I wasn't going to start the podcast this way. It just kind of happened. It's one of those days, man, that you never forget. And it's crazy because I think this is the first year that we have adults, 18-year-olds, adults that were not on this earth for September 11th. How crazy is that?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Seems like a lifetime ago, but at the same time, like it was just yesterday.
Yeah, certainly. Lots and lots of lives, and this whole world changed that day for sure.
It did, man. It did. And I was telling my wife right before we went live, I wish people remembered what this country was like on September the 12th. And
12th, I know it. Yeah.
They carried on with that mindset moving forward. Ryan Hoskins says, Boogie said my name, I can die happy, man. Ryan Hoskins, I said it again. She's gonna rub it in your wife's face. What am I, a celebrity? Dude, I'm just like you, buddy. We're just two normal dudes. It's cool, man. It's cool. Glad to have you with us. Tammy D says hello from Bristol. Tammy D, if you're up in Bristol, tell the folks at Bristol Jiu-Jitsu I said hello. James Gentry, Bryce is back, baby. Should we just kick it off with that? Should we just talk about Bryce Thompson right out of the gate? Yes, no. You guys want to join this podcast, or do you want me to do it by myself?
You just do it, Boogie. I'll just sit here and listen.
Okay. I don't have a whole lot to say.
I say play the fella. Play him Saturday. Come on. Put him out there. We're 0-2. What's it going to matter?
Dauber, what were you saying right before? You think it's a bad look?
I don't know. I mean, certainly you're going to have people that are calling it, desperate measures. It looks bad. You're 0-2. You're just trying to get him back out there. What I read before we came on, and we talked about just a little briefly before we started, I don't know that it's necessarily clear that if he's going to play or not. It said he's cleared for team activities. And of course, that wasn't an official source. That was just a news media outlet reporting that. So I guess we'll hang tight for a couple days and see what comes out officially, see if he is starting. Certainly, I know we hit on it when this came out. The young man needs some help, and the process needs to play out, whether it's rehabilitation, anger management. It's certainly a serious situation, and it puts things into perspective as far as what's important. However, we do live in a country where you're innocent until proven guilty. So
Well, if we're talking football and football alone, he's cleared for practice. That's a good sign for Tennessee fans.
Absolutely. It definitely helps our secondary.
Jess Contreras says, I'm in the National Guard and attend the University of Tennessee. Thankful for all the great opportunities. Well, Jess, we're thankful for you, and thank you for your service and giving us the opportunities to sit here and do what we're doing. Josh Lane says, Jason Hickman, rest in peace, died 1/7/2010 in Afghanistan. Oh, man. Played with him at DB. Man, stuff like that's hard to read. I don't even know what to say to that. Les Wadley says, smash that like button. Go Vols. Woot, woot. Yeah, guys, we've already got 15 joining us here in the live chat. Do smash that like button. Share out the link. Let's get it growing. And thank you guys, man. Thank you humbly from the bottom of our hearts. Almost 10,000 views on that home opener video. Up like 400 subscribers in the last 2 weeks. Thank you guys. We couldn't do it without you. You guys sharing it, telling a friend, sharing it on social media. That's how this podcast grows, is by word of mouth. So we definitely appreciate that. D. Arnold says, if he doesn't play this week, then you have to deal with it next week. That's right. If he's back on the team and he's cleared to practice, why not? Why is he not cleared to play? I think he will be. Was his court? He's already been to court, right? Wasn't that like?
Yeah, but he's supposed to have one the Tuesday after the Florida game, though, or that Monday. So it's been delayed or pushed back or whatever.
But I really think it goes back to what Dauber said from the very beginning, or maybe I think it was Dauber. He was never suspended from school.
That's what I said. Yeah.
So that tells you, from the school standpoint, there was no threat there. Which, if there's no threat to the school, he didn't physically put his hands on this girl. I
mean, it comes down to
play the boy.
Most situations are a he said, she said deal. So, and again, not to make light of it, because certainly not doing that. But, man, it's one of those things. You hope the rest of the team learns from it. The coaches use it as a point of emphasis to teach and mentor these young men and how they deal with relationships and how they deal with anger and other issues and the situations they put themselves in.
Well, it's one of two options. You kick him off the team, and then where's he going to go?
Right
back to it? Or is he going to go to, I was just watching Last Chance U. My gosh, I'm addicted to that show and QB1. Both are just like addictive TV for me. But I was watching Last Chance U, and the safety, breaking into a kid's apartment and stealing a bunch of stuff, allegedly. I don't know what happened. I've not got to the next episode yet. And you got to kick him off the team. But then what? Where do these guys go? Bryce Thompson's probably a little different. He gets kicked off at Tennessee. He's going to end up at JUCO or somewhere next year, if not another SEC school.
Auburn.
But once you cross that line so many times, it's like you said, you got to mentor these kids. You got to teach them their mistakes versus just kicking them back. Where do you go? What's he going to do?
Well,
and I don't know Bryce Thompson personally. I don't know.
Yeah, and what little bit I was able to read on it, I mean, it sounds like that they have a plan in place for him, and it's one of those deals where he's going to have to meet these expectations, and he's going to have to do these things before that he's back. So, based on that, I'd be shocked if he plays this Saturday. Does Pruitt get desperate and put him out there against Florida next Saturday? Possibly.
From a football standpoint, they need him because we kept hearing how great Warren Burrell was, and he's been picked on these first 2 weeks.
It's the whole talent versus experience. That experience has to catch up to the talent, and that's what we're looking at in a lot of places. Pruitt came out. Can't remember if it was the Monday presser or his talk to the QB club, and was talking about only 7 returning starters from defense last year, and we've lost 4 of them. So you're down to 3, and he said 7 returning starters from a bad defense. So
he also compared this football program to the Titanic, which is not a good idea.
Well, and I think that was kind of lost in what he was trying to say.
Yeah.
But then again, he said that if you're coming out of the jungle, I'm the one you want with you. Trust me. So,
yeah, I get what he was trying to say, but probably a bad comparison. Les Wiley says, 18 months in Afghanistan. Trust me, everyone, you don't understand how great we have it here. My stepbrother served. He did a couple of tours. He's no longer with us, but thank you so much for your service, Les, and everybody else that's chiming in. I love that you guys are letting us know, man. We see you guys every episode of Talkin VAWLS. We didn't know this, but thank you for your service. We definitely appreciate it more than you know. More than you know.
Certainly do. I know I do.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Les.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Josh Lane says, does he play the other QBs this week? I think the defense improves with Batuli Thompson, but no faith in JG. I agree. I think we're going to see Batuli and Henry T out there at inside linebacker, and I think that's going to be a huge improvement this week. But let's talk about the quarterback.
I don't know about that. From everything that I've read about Batuli, he's
limited,
very limited.
Still limited, but he is practicing.
Yeah,
but no contact.
What was the original? Sure. The original was 10 to 17
17 days, yeah.
So, well, if he doesn't come back this week, it's Chattanooga. Beat Chattanooga. And, yeah, you can say, well, what about Georgia State? I don't care about Georgia State. We're moving forward. They're going to beat the piss out of Chattanooga, and you got to have him healthy for Florida.
I mean, as far as Josh's comment about playing the other QBs, I mean, you surely hope that they can get this team down and to where that they can put at least one of them, but not both of those QBs in there. But
I don't think that's what people want. I don't think people want them to be down. I think people just want the QBs to play, and I don't think that's going to happen.
But we've said that for 2 weeks, though. You know, let's get up on the scoreboard and get some young guys in, get experience. But it's not panned out that way. From what I understand, there is not a backup quarterback, and Pruitt kind of alluded to that when you had Maurer running out when Garantano got his.
I don't believe that. Well, I don't believe that that Brian Maurer would throw his helmet on and go running on the field if he didn't know he was the backup. And I know they split reps with the twos also.
I believe so.
So
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's gutsy. Pruitt said he did like it. I like it. I like that attitude.
Yeah. You got to have that fire. I mean, and that's one thing. I chimed in on a couple comments from that we had last week. Somebody was talking about Dobbs, and you know that was the kind of intangibles that you saw from Dobbs that you don't necessarily see from Garantano. You know, the scrambling, making plays. Garantano's not the dual threat that he was billed to be coming in, and he doesn't seem to know when to take off. He doesn't have that internal clock. Holds onto the ball, and then when he goes, he's sliding 3 yards early. He's stepping out of bounds. Dobbs would lower his shoulder and try to run through somebody or hurdle somebody, or it's just that it factor, and you really want that in your leaders. JG just the mistakes that he's making. You shouldn't see from a redshirt junior. You shouldn't see from somebody with as much game experience as he has. How many times did he throw into double and triple coverage last Saturday?
Yeah, and Ryan Hoskins says Dauber's hitting the nail right on the head, and I agree. I don't think any of us disagree. I think all of us can watch the first two games and say that JG is missing that it factor. He's holding on to the ball too long. He doesn't have it. He's not Josh Dobbs. But I also seem to remember some certain people on this podcast that wanted to bench Josh Dobbs, and not just a host, JP. Everybody knows I'm talking about you, but a lot of listeners too wanted Josh Dobbs benched at the time. There's nobody more sexy.
Inaccurate passer.
Yeah. Right.
Looking back on it, I was stupid, and I admit it.
And but what my point is, the backup quarterbacks are an unknown.
Right.
There's a reason that Garantano is the starting quarterback. There's a reason he has been, and there's a reason he continues to be, and there's a reason we're not seeing Maurer or Shrout on that field. And And as much as I wish we had an answer, I don't think it's a matter of Garantano's not the guy. I don't think there is a guy. I think that's the problem. I don't think we have a good enough quarterback.
I agree.
Yeah, he has never been, and I don't think will ever be the type of quarterback that is going to come in and take a game over. He's more of a, and I hate to use the term, game manager. You know,
see, that's what I felt he was last year, but he's not even that this year. He is not good this year. He's gone backwards.
Definitely. I totally 100% agree. He has regressed. There were times last year where he looked good. But this year it's far from it. Even though his stats, if you just solely look at his stats and you didn't watch the games, you think, oh, he's having a decent year. But he's constantly locked in on one guy. He's checking down and dumping off, and that inflates and pads his stats. It's, you know, and I don't know how much of it is lack of confidence from the coaches. You know, it seemed to me after the pick he threw that the game plan shrunk, that we didn't really have that sense of I don't know, the calls just didn't seem.
There was no confidence. There's no confidence in two. None.
I mean, that hurts because here all offseason, all we talked about is Chaney's coming in. He's going to get the ball to the playmakers. But, you know, it's not Chaney getting the ball to the playmakers. It's Garantano.
Yeah, and Chaney's completely handcuffed. That's why any criticism of Chaney at this point, I don't buy it. I don't buy into it.
Jim Chaney dialed up enough good plays Saturday night for if we'd had any kind of competent quarterback out there, well, we'd have scored upwards of 30, you know, in the high 30s, if not more.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, there were so many open plays that Garantano missed. You know. Here's what I think, and I really believe that this is happening. I honestly believe that when that pass play is called, that before Garantano ever has the ball in his hands, he is automatically thinking, okay, I'm going to this receiver here, and I'm going to throw it to him, no matter if he's double or triple coverage, or if he has a little bit of time, then he's going to check down. He's not looking at anybody else. I mean, he is zoned in before that ball is snapped, and he's thinking, I'm throwing this one to Callaway, or I'm throwing this one to Jennings. I mean, there's no progression there at all.
Don't you think a lot of times too he's taking the safe throw?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
No matter where the chains are, no matter what the need is, he's taking this what you would call the safe throw, and that's why going back to Dauber's point, that's why if you look at the stat line, he's a good stat guy.
Yeah,
for the most part.
Something happened to him when he got knocked out of that Missouri game last year. I mean, he has not been the same since. Not to say that he was some, you know, off the charts quarterback, but I mean,
something changed though.
It did. I mean, he went down there to Auburn last year, you know, and we pulled the upset. Yeah, I mean, you could argue and say that he was just throwing jump balls, but you know, 50-50 balls, but still, I mean, he was putting some balls into places that gave our receivers an opportunity to go and catch them. And, you know, this year he's just not making the correct reads. So, you know, and we've talked about it on here, you know, I certainly think that he's a bit of a gun shy because he's been beat up so much, and he's had a very bad offensive line. But at the same time, we got to quit making excuses for him, and he's got to start acting like a quarterback. And he's been down there for 4 years. And I understand that he's had different offensive coordinators down there and stuff, but still, I mean, this is basic quarterback 101 as far as, you know, looking at your progression and you know, knowing what that play call is and knowing where those receivers should be. And the fact that he's throwing in double and triple coverage and he's got wide receivers wide open, I mean, we just can't have that. I mean, there's just no way.
There have been times where he's not slid the protection to the strong side. You know, you've got 3 guys lined up over there and 2 guys blocking, and he doesn't see that. It's just things you don't expect from somebody with the experience that he's got.
100%. Guys, we got 75 in the
Smash
live
that
chat.
like button.
Do us a favor and smash that like button. You might be sitting there, why would I do that? Why do I care? I'm just here to listen to you guys talk about UT football. Well, it helps the analytics of YouTube. It pushes our videos out to more Vol fans, more people that are listening to UT YouTube videos or whatever. It definitely helps the podcast. It takes 2 seconds to drop out of the live chat and smash that like button. And if you feel obliged, go ahead and share out the link to Twitter, Facebook, wherever you get social with your media. Tell a Vol for life. Let them know that you listen to Talkin Vols. I do want to say this, too. I think the first batch of Talkin Vols, of the logo T-shirts, I think they've already printed or they're going to print now. So they should be going out in the mail maybe as soon as this week.
I think they're supposed to ship tomorrow.
Okay. I want to challenge you guys to do this. When you get those shirts, throw them on, take a picture, tweet at TalkinVols_pod. We'll retweet those out. I want everybody to see those shirts and spread the word. They are still available. Once they go to print, apparently the shop just stays open and you can go order them. You can go to bonfire.com/TalkinVols. Links are in the description. We also have the Egghead shirt. It's all down there. I'm not sharing it. I'm not plugging it. I'm just, this is how I do it. I just keep talking and never know when to shut up. Where do we want to go?
Amen to that.
Yeah, sorry. That's why I host a podcast, because I just ramble. I was telling my wife a story last night. I was telling her how to grow the YouTube channel, and I had all these ideas. And I was like, I need to do this and this and this. And she just looked at me and goes, "You're talking in your podcast voice right now as you speak to me." Well, I don't know. What do you guys think the attendance is going to be Saturday? 0-2, UTC, 12 o'clock kick. You think there's going to be 60,000 people down there?
I mean, that's what I say, but again, this fan base keeps on coming back for more and more. So I wouldn't be surprised to see 75.
I've got a theory on that, and I talked with one of my buddies today at work. I think when the team is struggling, when tickets are, you're not going to pay, free, or you're not paying $80 to go see McNeese State. I think that is when your average Joe Schmo, blue collar guy can actually afford to go down, take the kids, take the wife, take the family out, and not spend a whole month's paycheck to go down. So I think the broad dynamic of the fan base, when the team is bad, it is an opportunity for others who normally wouldn't be able to go to attend. And that's just the reality of it. I know I'm pretty lucky in I have some avenues that I obtain tickets, but for me to be able to take my entire family down, that's, when a smoky dog is, $8 and a beer is 13.
I was going to say, does anybody know what a beer costs now that they're selling them? Is it 13?
$12 and $13.
Jeez, Pete. People have been drinking in Neyland Stadium for 60 years.
60.
Well, whatever. I don't know, man. This crowd showed out for this BYU game.
Oh, the atmosphere. There's nothing like Neyland at night. I mean, it was from the kickoff until the last 17 seconds. I mean, it was good. The wind got sucked out pretty quick.
Dude, my blood pressure's through the roof when we started this podcast because I decided to watch the Pruitt show right before we went live, and then it got and showed the end of the game. So then I went and watched the actual recording, the DVR recording, and watched that last play about 5 or 6 times just to piss myself off. I still
I just can't do it. I just can't do it. I had it recorded, and I don't know if it was Sunday or whatever. I just went in there and just deleted it. I just can't bring myself to watch those games like that. I just can't do it.
We had the opportunity to bring the guy down before they got in field goal range. Yeah, and they're out of timeouts.
All you got to do is keep him in front of you.
Yeah,
well,
that's it. Just need Warrior to make a tackle.
But we actually had 2 chances to salt the game away. and we couldn't run the ball.
More than two.
Well, yeah.
More than
And
two.
we-
If the offense did what they should have done, it would have never ended up.
Yeah,
where it was.
it wouldn't have come to that.
And how many times have we talked about that on this podcast over
Yeah.
the last few years?
Yeah.
The inability of our offensive line to finish out a game. I mean, it's like a broken record. A broken record.
Well, we took a lot of heat for our criticism of Nigel Warrior, and I forget I think it was on the VolQuest podcast Monday, maybe. I think Hubs might have brought it up. How many interceptions Nigel Warrior has in his career? In his career at Tennessee, do you know how many interceptions he has?
Do you even have any?
One.
One.
So I was pretty nice in the comment section when we were talking about Nigel Warrior. That's not acceptable. That's not acceptable.
He's been a bust.
Yeah.
I mean, I had such high hopes for that kid, knowing the pedigree that he was coming from. Because I mean, his dad was an absolute stud. I mean, his dad was probably the best defensive back safety that Tennessee ever had. I mean, that guy was just lights out and played years in the NFL and everything. But man, he has just not been good. I mean, I don't know if it was the fact of, some of the bad coaching and just bad attitude or what, but I mean, that's what I was hoping last year, when Pruitt came in, knowing background that Pruitt has with the defensive backs, thinking, man, he's going to get Warrior being a stud, but it's just not happened.
Well, let me ask you this though: how much of it is that, or do you think that the back end of the secondary has changed since the days of Dale Carter? Guys now are wanting to launch themselves and lead with the helmet and get the big hit instead of dropping back and playing coverage. That's I think where Dale Carter excelled was reading the defense, looking in at the quarterback's eyes, and making a play on the ball.
Well, Nigel Warrior missed the memo on how to deliver a hit. If you saw the last play of regulation against BYU,
he has his head down. He's out of control.
He barely got a hand on the
arms
guy
out there, just trying to arm tackle somebody.
And that's what I'm saying. You constantly see that in today's that's why you have targeting. Because they're making a point of emphasis. Nobody, when I played, granted, Pee-wee football and up through my freshman year, I was always taught you see what you hit. Your head's up, you're seeing what you're going to tackle. And these guys just, they want to, I guess it's, the Sports Center effect or something.
I don't know, man, because I go back and look at Ronnie Lott, and he was ripping dudes' heads off.
Yeah, but I think some of it has to do with just the mindset and mentality of football today, and it's hard to compare to the likes of Dale Carter when you didn't really see that type of play then. It was more sit back, react instead of launching yourself like a missile and whiffing.
D. Arnold agrees with me. Safeties used to knock your head off.
No, I'm not saying they wouldn't hit you. But
yeah. I don't know, Dauber. I mean, they've kind of made football less of a contact sport. I mean, you look at safeties over the years, and I mean, they annihilate people. And I haven't seen Dale Carter do that since he got kicked out of the Texas A&M game on that punt return, which was a hog. Stupid play call, or
you just called Nigel Warrior Dale Carter
anyway.
How dare you?
He did.
Do
How
what?
dare you? You just called Nigel Warrior by his daddy's name.
Let's go back. Nigel Warrior by his daddy's name.
Let's go back and hit this this comment from Sean Bosworth real quick. He said he heard we got a D commit this week. Anybody know who? JP's got the news for you. JP's going to keep us up to date. Some of you guys asked for some recruiting news, so JP's going to bring us the recruiting roundup, probably just on the Wednesday night show. JP, what do you got for us this week?
Yeah, that was that Levy Jenkins, that defensive back from Florida. So, I don't really know how much Tennessee probably really was maybe even pushing with him. I mean, who knows? I mean, obviously they accepted his commitment, but probably one of the committed guys that the coaching staff probably is not too concerned with. I would dare say that the most concern that they have is trying to keep Harrison Bailey satisfied with this 0-2 start, and the fact of could this team end up being 1-7 or something like that, before they have an opportunity to really win another football game? And, what's that going to do with Bailey? I saw where he was interviewed. He was down there Saturday along with some other guys, and they interviewed him afterwards. And, he's saying all the right things and saying that he still believes in Pruitt and Chaney, and he feels like that, that they can, his goal is to make sure that this class stays intact and that they add some more pieces to it. So right now, he's still saying all the right things, but Tennessee desperately needs to win some football games to hold on to this kid, because as we're seeing right now, we don't feel like that we even have a quarterback. So this kid, if he's as advertised, and obviously he's had a great start to his senior year down there in Georgia. There's no doubt that this kid should be able to walk in and I'm on record as saying that there's no way that Garantano's back next year anyway. Not that I think he's going to the NFL. I think he'll end up going the grad transfer route. I think he's done just as soon as this season's over with at down there at UT. So I think he's done. So, I think that if we can keep Harrison Bailey, I think that he steps in and he's day one starter next year.
Let's I kind of want to ask you guys, because this team's 0-2 with a loss to Georgia freaking State. And the question I want to bring up, is there any way at this point in time that this team can find a way to win 6 games? And as I thought about it this week, it almost sounds crazy. You think this football team can win 6 games? But after the BYU game, man, I really think this team is exactly what we thought it was. I really believe that. I really believe that they overlooked Georgia State. I feel like they didn't do enough film preparation. I feel like they just were not ready for that football game. And I think that's why they got beat. BYU went down exactly like I expected. When we did our season preview, I told you guys over and over and over that game, the BYU game, scared me. I thought it was a toss-up game. And it went down to the wire. Tennessee had a chance to win, and in typical Tennessee fashion, they found a way to lose. And now they're 0-2, but I still think this team, when I look at it, I still think that they can find a way to win 6 games. Call me crazy. Maybe I'm a lunatic. Maybe I'm the optimist. Maybe old Boogie's back. I don't know. They're going to beat UTC this weekend. They're going to beat UAB. So my question is, can they find a way to win 4 games between Mississippi State, South Carolina, Kentucky, Missouri, and Vanderbilt? Look, Vanderbilt's not very good, man. They're not very good. Kentucky and South Carolina, both their quarterbacks are out for the season. Maybe I'm the optimist. Maybe you guys think I'm crazy in the live chat. I think Tennessee can find a way to win 6 games. But what do you guys think? No way in hell. Boogie's crazy?
I saw where we're actually still favored against Vanderbilt. I read we're favored in 3 of our remaining games, the UTC, UAB, and Vandy. But I mean, we were favored the last 2 weeks too. Man, I kicked us off there a couple weeks ago and said the ceiling for this team is 9 wins, and I said at minimum we'll be 500 and make a bowl game. And maybe that's the homer in me or whatever. I'm kind of with you there, Boogie. I don't know if we get to 6 though now. Just from what I've seen from the quarterback play, there's just we talked about how much Garantano has regressed. We can't win games if we don't score points. And I just like Josh Lane just says, no faith in JG winning more than 4 games. But he may go down. He may get hurt in one of these big games against Georgia or Alabama or Florida. Florida's their defensive front and their linebackers, they scare me against our offensive line. And That's a recipe for disaster right there. But who knows? If we play with passion and intensity, yeah, we may eke out another one or two. Do we get to 6? That might be a stretch. I'd sure like to beat Muschamp. That's they lost their quarterback too, did they not?
Yeah.
Yep.
So
I just don't see it, and there's 2 reasons why that I don't see it. Number one is quarterback play. I mean, he would have to really turn it around. But to me, the biggest reason why that I don't see us getting to 6 wins is the line of scrimmage. I just don't see it. I mean, we talked about it preseason before the games even started, and I just don't see that this offensive line or this defensive line being able to make plays, or the offensive line being able to block well enough. I mean, we saw it Saturday night, not being able to pick up 3rd down and 1, 4th down and 1s. And then, once we get into SEC play, I mean, that it really scares me about that defensive line just getting absolutely just blown off the ball. And then
I think the offensive
just not
line
going to be able
played
to stop
well.
anybody. So then they're just going to cram it right down our throat.
I think the offensive line played well Saturday, and I think it's unfair to say that they didn't. And I know that's not a
But they
SEC
couldn't pick
team.
up 3rd down and 1 and 4th down and 1.
Well,
I mean,
4th down and 1,
on.
you got 4th down and 1, you got cute and ran around the end. 3rd down and 1,
That
you go
wasn't a
and
key
shot.
play.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. That was stupid. I don't care what anybody says.
That's a one-on-one play. And Josh Palmer couldn't.
And one person won and one person lost.
It was a one-on-one play.
And what happened?
And Josh Palmer couldn't make the guy miss. I mean, it's simple as that.
That's a stupid play call.
Oh yeah,
you can't put the offensive line on blast.
Right up.
You can't put the offensive. How you gonna put the offensive line on blast when you just said that Palmer couldn't make a guy miss? How you gonna blame the offensive line for that?
But that's not a stupid play call. You said it was a stupid.
It is a stupid play call. It clearly didn't work. But we're talking about the offensive line, and you're ripping.
You
on
could
them.
argue that those play calls that Chaney called that Garantano threw the interception or the incompletions didn't work either. But that wasn't a play call.
No, but we're talking about the offensive line. You said the offensive line couldn't pick up a 4th and 1.
They couldn't.
And then on the flip side, you said Palmer should have made a guy miss. So which one is it?
I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean, it doesn't matter what the coaches call. It doesn't matter what the coaches do. If the players can't make the plays, it doesn't matter.
I agree, but you blame the offensive line for not picking up that 4th and 1.
And I blame Palmer for not making the defensive back miss.
The offensive line did the 3rd down play and I think the 4th down play that they were blasted off the ball. It didn't have a chance from the get-go. They ran the same play, I think, the series before and picked up, 10, 12 yards on it. But
with that,
real quick, D. Copeman has a $5 super chat. Guys, if I missed any super chats, please put me on blast and let me know. Our internet on the East Coast is complete garbage right now, and I can't get the super chats pulled up. But I did see this one on my phone, and D. Copeman says, I can't say confidently that we win 6, but I hold hope in growth. What do you want to see growth in? You want to see growth in the team across the board? Are you looking for growth in young guys like Henry T and Eric Gray? Thank you for the super chat. Definitely appreciate that. And listen, I'm not sitting here saying that I believe confidently in any way, shape, or form that A, this team can win 6 games, that B, this offensive line can block an SEC caliber defensive line. I'm just saying, based on what we saw Saturday, I don't think you can criticize the offensive line. I thought they played well Saturday.
Yeah, I mean,
that's one humble man's
played
opinion.
Well enough to win, but still, they had an opportunity to pick up some very important first downs, and they couldn't do it. I mean, that one, I don't know if it's in the 3rd quarter or maybe even in I don't know what quarter it was, but on the replay, I mean, Ryan Johnson just got absolutely destroyed. I mean, our running back didn't even have a shot. I mean, it was like that Johnson was just standing there, in his stance, and that defensive lineman just slanted right in front of him and just blew the play up. I mean, you know,
But that's football. That's football. We can pick plays, here and there to criticize the offensive line, but they also averaged what? Over 5 yards a carry easily.
Yeah, but the bottom line is that they didn't make the plays to put the game away. I mean, we had an opportunity to pick up first downs to where we could have just salted the game away, and we didn't do it. Now, I'm not saying that, Garantano missing these receivers, it would have been a moot point, but still, that's the way that the game played out, and our offensive line in those situations like that, they didn't come through for us.
Right. Well, we can pick and choose all we want. We can blame Nigel Warrior. It's his fault.
Exactly.
It's his fault.
I mean,
it's a team game.
It's a team effort.
But that's why I'm saying overall, I believe the offensive line played well.
I mean, I was very encouraged by what the offensive line did. I mean, very, very encouraged by it. But
now,
I just
2 weeks from now, when they play that Florida defensive line,
Florida on
exactly.
Defense.
Well, we all know that. All know that.
BYU is not Mississippi State even. BYU is not South Carolina. I'm just saying, whenever we're talking about can Tennessee get to 6 wins, the fact of the matter is the offensive line and the defensive line, in my opinion, will not be able to hold their own to enable Tennessee to get to 6 wins.
I feel like Dauber's dying to talk, and we're arguing like an old married couple. Welcome to Talkin VAWLS, new listeners. We ain't even to week 3 yet. Me and JP are at each other's throats. What's up, Dauber?
What's going on? I wanted to add, what do you guys think about Pruitt and the play calling and the calls that were very aggressive, going for it on 4th down?
I like it, man. I like it. I do. There's a lot of times that he makes decisions to go for it, and I will be texting either our group text or Davis down in one of the moderators here. I'll text him and say, he'll be like, "What do you think of this call?" And I'll say, "I wouldn't do it, but I like the guts." I like a confident coach, man.
I didn't have any problems with any of his calls, like going for it Saturday night. I had no problems with it.
I didn't like the end around the reverse call on 4th and 1. I thought, you've had so much success with that stretch play. What I would have liked to have seen is maybe run a play action off that.
That's my biggest complaint with the game plan from Saturday.
Yeah.
Why did every time they ran a play action, they went out a shotgun or a different formation or a different run? They didn't run one single play action off of that stretch play.
Well,
now, somebody brought up, did they not have that in the playbook? I don't know, but they didn't do it. And that I'm not saying. Would you really
put the ball in Garantano's hands, on 4th down and 1 at that point?
No. I'm not saying on that 4th and 1. I'm saying in the overall game plan, they didn't run that at all.
Well, we
hell no. If that was me and I went for it on 4th and 1, I'd have ran the freaking stretch play off tackle to the left, and I would have bet the farm on what's been working all night long.
Yeah, I know, but we done that in overtime and BYU caught onto it.
We ran a freaking jet sweep too and got tackled behind the line of scrimmage. So what difference does it make?
We went to the well too many times.
Oh God, I'm gonna mute you. I'm gonna mute you. I have the power to kick you off of this show.
Now listen, my wife was sitting there beside me Saturday, and she was, she watches football, but she doesn't watch football, and she's sitting there saying they're running it. They're going to run it. And
everybody knew they were going to run it, and they still couldn't stop it.
Yeah. And it's when somebody that doesn't follow football and doesn't know the ins and outs of running an offense or a defense says, well, that's the way they lined up before. They're going to run it. Do you not think that these guys that get paid millions of dollars see the same thing?
Yeah, but like JP just said, are we talking about the 4th and 1? Do you have the confidence to put the ball in two's hands? Because I don't.
Yeah,
I have the confidence to run it off tackle like you had been all night.
But an end around, that just...
I hate that call, man. Yeah. I said that. I hate that call.
Pruitt did say, the first game that he felt like they played on their heels and they weren't aggressive enough, especially defensively. and he said that 4th and a foot we have to get. He said we're trying to establish an identity as a team that is going to win a game. We have to be able to convert 4th and a foot.
I wish I had, and I track the plays before we go live on Saturdays, but then I delete it. I would love to see how many 4th and 1s and 3rd and 1s this team has not converted. And we talked about that. In the preseason show or the season preview show. Can this team do that? And up to this point, they have not proven that they can.
We haven't been able to for years down there.
No,
I mean it's been the most frustrating thing, or to watch this program do. I mean it's just crazy that when it gets short yardage that we can't pick them up.
Did you guys see what came out? I guess Monday, Pruitt was asked about short yardage and the possibility of putting Banks or Crouch in. Putting a package in for them.
Yeah, somebody in the live chat's talking about that right now.
Yeah, but I mean,
Nolik Alwyn in the live chat apparently is calling me the rainbow and butterfly Tennessee fan. This must be your first episode of the podcast ever. So thanks for coming at me with your stupid attack, but whatever.
Who?
Nolik Alwyn. I'm rainbow and butterflies. I'm the optimist. I think Tennessee's going to win 10 games this season. I'm sure they're coming at me. I'm not the one that predicted them to win 9 games like somebody on this panel.
I said that was a ceiling. I said it was a ceiling.
It's funny though. I love a first-time listener.
Be lucky to win 6. So.
I love a first-time listener that wants to throw shade when I pick this team to win 5 games or maybe 6 games.
What's up? I am El Nino.
El Nino is in the house all day. Vols says, hey, go Vols, guys. We got 102 in the live chat. Do us a favor, smash that like button. And share out the link. I'm not upset, baby. I'm just happy to be alive and well in East Tennessee on a Wednesday night. I'm not mad. Just another troll. Where do you guys want to take it?
What is Matt Baines asking the question about? How hard are they actually practicing? See something on there. Yeah. I mean, I think that we just got to look at the secondary. I mean, we got Burrell, who's a true freshman. We got Alontae Taylor, who, I mean, he played a lot last year, but, at the end of last year, he actually got benched.
A lot of people are saying the issues with lining up are, number one, you got Batuli out. You got your best defensive lineman out for the year. And then you got Bryce Thompson suspended. So, I mean, that's a key player on every level of it, yeah. That's huge, man. Yeah. That's huge.
It is. But, I mean, that's one thing that I've been encouraged about and was hopeful with this coaching staff was some of the practice reports that you were seeing and, reading about how that, the coaching staff was, staying on these kids and, really coaching them up and stuff like that. So, personally, I don't think that that's a lack of effort in practice. I think it's a combination of kids down there that have been involved in a losing culture. I think it's also a combination of some kids down there that just aren't talented enough. And then it's also the fact that we've got some young people in some very key roles.
Yeah, I agree. And I can't remember who said it earlier in the live chat. It comes down to there needs to be a complete culture change. The identity of Tennessee football, the identity of a lot of the players that predate Pruitt is a losing mentality. And that's just plain and simple. I think a lot of us that are fans, when we say 9 wins is a ceiling, we're holding out hope. That's eternal optimism. That's where we want the team to be. But in reality, if we pump the brakes and look at where this team is, where this team was when Pruitt took over, the mess that he came into, you're talking inheriting a team that won 0 conference games. I mean, we're 2 years removed from that. So are we expecting one season and it's just, magic and we're back to 10 wins and being relevant and being talked about for the playoffs, that's not feasible, and especially with recruiting where it's been, and it's just that Pruitt needs time, and I hate to go to that and use it as an excuse, but this team's young, this team is inexperienced, and we do have talent, we have talent coming in, but that talent doesn't have the experience, and it hurts games like Georgia State and BYU where we should be winning and dominating, and it over by before the half, and getting those young guys in to get that experience that we're lacking.
I mean, they
But
can't.
that's the
They
exact
can't.
reason why that the fan base is down on Pruitt.
Right.
I mean,
It's because of who he's lost to. Is definitely the
Yeah.
problem.
Right.
Everything Dauber's saying, I mean, I agree with. I think most of us agree with it. But at the same time, we've been hearing it for so long that it's hard to listen to. And it's why I get so sick of the trolls you see on social media. Tennessee is a joke now, man. They're a joke. The Georgia State game, it wasn't even hardly news that Georgia State beat Tennessee. You know why? Because it doesn't surprise anybody. It doesn't even surprise us Saturday when they blow that game against freaking BYU. 20 seconds on the clock, running clock, no timeouts on their own 15. Nothing surprises us.
99.6% chance to win the game.
Yeah.
And Tennessee done the most Tennessee thing ever.
Yeah.
Nothing surprises us anymore. That's why it's hard to hear, well, he's got to rebuild. And as much as it's the truth, you know it, I know it, we all know it, it still sucks to hear.
Yeah. Before the season started, I was saying that I fully expect that this to be a 5 to 6 year job before Tennessee is actually competing what I would expect to be competing with the possibility of the likes of Georgia or Alabama. Not to say that it's going to take 5 to 6 years to start beating some good quality teams, but with the level that Georgia and Alabama are at right now, to me, 5 to 6 years is the absolute earliest that I could see a team getting back on to that level. And people want to say, well, Kirby Smart done it in 2 years. Kirby Smart inherited an absolute loaded football team. Mark Richt could always recruit. He just couldn't get the guys to play. But Mark Richt had a loaded football team down there. So if you want to argue that, then you're just arguing, apples and oranges as far as I'm concerned with that. So, yeah. But the problem is we crapped the bed against Vandy last year, got just absolutely taken to the woodshed, and then we lay the egg, the biggest of all eggs, against Georgia State, and then we come out and we have this game won against BYU and let it, what they say, snap victory from the or snap defeat from the victory of. Well, I don't know what it's called anyway, but still,
you're struggling, bro. What's in your Gatorade bottle?
Just some Gatorade, but yeah, I mean that's the thing. I mean, so many people are off the Pruitt wagon now, but just because really of the way that the season ended last year and the fact the way the season has began this year. But who can blame them?
Well, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. We're all in agreement. I think you can't fire Pruitt. It's a rebuilding process. You got to give him time. JP just said it's a 4 to 5 year job. What happens if he loses to Chattanooga on Saturday?
Well, I'll bet you're off then.
What happens? Do you fire Jeremy Pruitt if he starts 0-3 in year 2?
Against Georgia State, BYU, and UTC?
Yeah. Do you fire him immediately? What if the worst case scenario happens on Saturday? What do you do?
Man,
what can you do? I think it might have been Mohammed Fayed down in the live chat. I think he may have said, does Fulmer step in if it gets too bad? Is that what happens if he loses on Saturday? This is worst case scenario.
Well, JP said a couple weeks ago there's no recovering for him.
So how is it a 4 to 5 year job if there's no recovering? I mean, it's almost over now. So what if? What would you do? What would you do, Dauber? What would you do if you're the athletic director and Jeremy Pruitt starts year 2 with 3 straight losses to Georgia State, BYU, and UTC. How do you freaking recover from that? JP says you can't recover from just a loss to Georgia State. Hard to argue that. That's pretty bottom of the barrel. What if?
Man,
the live chat's going nuts saying you fire him immediately.
If they lose to Chattanooga, yeah, I mean, you almost have to fire him. I don't know that Fulmer is the one to step in though. Who would come into this situation?
Nobody. That's why if they lose, you talk about must win. We called last week must win. This is. If Tennessee doesn't lose Saturday, they might as well shut the football program down. Because, like you said, you got to fire him. Who are you going to hire? Nobody.
That's the other thing, though. That financially, I know we have boosters that have more money than they can shake a stick at. But financially, we're still paying Butch Jones.
I know. So you're going to go ahead and pay Jeremy Pruitt too? Worst case scenario, what if?
It's what, like $11 million? I think
Pruitt's buyout. It's pretty high.
Yeah, it's up there.
Yeah, somebody said that it at the end of this year or after the end of the season, it's down to like nine something or something like that.
El Nino, El Nino,
pocket change.
El Nino. I can't read that, and we probably shouldn't even have that in the live chat.
I must have missed it.
We'll just let it go. We'll just let it slide.
I see it now.
We're going to be
Lord
demonetized
have mercy, El Nino.
immediately. I appreciate a good joke. Got to be careful. Dude, we've almost been on an hour. We have been on an hour. Let's get into our predictions for Saturday. But first, if you guys remember, for the last week's Wednesday night show, we did predictions. We asked you guys to come back after the show was over and drop them in the comments. And we're going to, Dauber, you got the stickers. Show them the stickers. Well, they're on our mic flags
They're
here.
Sweet.
We got some Talkin VAWLS live stickers we're going to send out to you guys for free. We got 5 winners from last week for making the closest prediction. Dauber's going to read them off now. What you got to do, one of two things. You got to go to either Twitter at TalkinVAWLS_pod, or you can just search Talkin VAWLS on Facebook. Send us a DM and just let us know your address, and Dauber will get one sent out to you. Dauber, who were the 5 winners? El Nino, dude, we love you. We know you're kidding. Some people don't understand humor like we do.
All right, we've actually got 6 because we had 2 scores that were the same. Soren Spade, Archie Bunker, Troy Sharp, IC86, and then we're going to also have Troy Lee Nugent and James Gentry. So all you guys send us a message, and we will get those mailed out to you. Do you want me to go ahead and do this week's?
Yeah, some of you have already sent me a message, and I've got your address. I've sent it to Dauber. He's going to get those sent out. Dauber is also working on getting the Talkin VAWLS Egghead cartoon T-shirt logo. We're going to get that on a sticker and give some of those out as well. Dauber, what's the contest for this week for the UTC game?
Okay, so this week we're going to go with total rushing yards for Tennessee. So throw your prediction up for total rushing yards. We're going to go tiebreaker, who actually leads in rushing yards. So make sure to come back after it posts and leave that in the comments, and we'll send out 3, 4, 5 stickers to the people that get closest.
So we want total Tennessee team rushing yards, right?
Yes.
Total rushing yards for the Tennessee football team, not combined for both teams, not individual rusher. Total rushing yards for Tennessee's football team. Don't put it in the live chat. As soon as we go off air, which we're about to do in here in just a minute after we do our predictions, it'll take a minute, and then the video will post, and you guys can go in and leave an actual comment, not live chat. So once we go off air, come back, total Tennessee rushing yards in the comment section, and then we will announce the winners on next week's Wednesday night stream. We'll get some stickers sent out. If you guys like this, dude, this company that we use, you can get coasters and all kinds of different stuff. Maybe it'll get, if we get enough subscribers and enough views, maybe we'll give out a free T-shirt. That'd be cool.
Ooh.
That'd be cool. We could do that. We could do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
All right. Let's we've been on an hour. Let's keep it short and sweet. I'm gonna go first. This Saturday, Tennessee, UTC in Neyland Stadium at 12 o'clock. And listen, I said it earlier and I caught flack for it, and I had to ban somebody for it. I had to kick somebody off the channel because of my opinion. I think this team is who we thought they were. They lost to BYU in a neck-and-neck game. They overlooked Georgia State. I still think they have a chance to win 6 games. I think they come out and they prove it, and they beat UTC, I'm going to say 38-7 this Saturday. That's not an impressive score, but I think they win 38-7.
I'm right there with you. I think this team is pissed off. I think they're angry. I think they're embarrassed. I think that going into the year that they didn't envision starting the year off 0-2. I think they come out and I called it last week. I said it would be a completely different team after the Georgia State game, and it was. And they played well at times on both sides of the ball, but just not enough. I think they do get off the goose egg and win this week, and I'm going 35-13.
What do you got, JP?
Vols going to come out and absolutely destroy the Mock Saturday, 58-6.
I like it. I like it. I like that negative attitude coming through with a positive score prediction. That's going to wrap it up for this episode of Talkin VAWLS. Guys, there's still 95 of you hanging around. Real quick, just before you get out of here, just drop out, smash that like button, help out the analytics of YouTube. For Vols JP, for Dauber Greer, my name is Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.
Jack Kerouac, he drank himself to death in New England, and I'd like to take his hand and say, Jack, man, it's okay. Now he's gone, and we're left to move on without him. The songs howl like beat, poets at an arcade, soaking moonlit falls, unbroken plastics inundated ore that we call home, and it's night and I'm alone and I'm alive.